Ladies and gentlemen, there's a question many of us face at some point in life. Why does God remove certain people from our lives? Whether it's a friend, a loved one, or a business partner, their departure often leaves us confused, hurt, and asking for answers. But I want to encourage you today that God, in His infinite wisdom, knows exactly what He is doing. Every person who walks out of your life is part of a bigger plan, a plan designed for your growth, your protection, and your destiny. Sometimes when God removes people from your life, it feels painful and confusing. You may wonder why someone you care about or rely on is suddenly no longer part of your journey. But this is part of what can be described as divine pruning for growth. Just as a gardener cuts away dead or overgrown branches from a plant, God does the same in our lives. He sees that there are relationships, connections, or even attachments that are no longer helping us grow. Instead, they may be holding us back, limiting our potential, or keeping us in places we've outgrown. Imagine a tree with too many branches. It may look full and vibrant on the surface, but if the gardener doesn't prune it, the excess branches can hinder the tree's growth, blocking sunlight and preventing new, healthy branches from flourishing. Similarly, God removes certain people because they are like overgrown branches. They prevent you from receiving the light you need to grow into the person He's calling you to be. These people may not be bad, but their role in your life has come to an end, and holding on to them will only stunt your growth. It can be difficult to understand this when you're in the middle of it. The process of pruning often feels like loss, but in reality, it's preparation. God is preparing you for something greater, but to move forward, you need to shed what is no longer useful to your journey. Sometimes the relationships that feel familiar and comfortable are the very ones that stop you from stepping into your full potential. They keep you where you are rather than allowing you to move toward where you're meant to be. What we need to realize is that growth isn't always about addition. Often it's about subtraction, removing what no longer serves you. God knows what's ahead, and He understands that not everyone in your life today is equipped to walk with you into your future. He removes those whose presence would hinder your progress or whose influence might lead you off course. Though it may seem harsh or untimely, His wisdom in this process is perfect. He prunes so that you can grow. You may not realize it now, but as you move forward, you'll begin to see the new opportunities, the new people, and the new experiences that are now possible because you let go of the old. Growth requires space, and when God removes people, He is creating that space for you to grow into something more, something better. It's not about what's being taken away, it's about what's being made possible. The pruning is painful, but the growth that follows is essential for the fulfillment of your purpose. In life, we often form strong connections with people we believe will be by our side forever. However, as we grow and evolve, we start to realize that not everyone is meant to stay with us for the entire journey. There comes a point when you realize that the path God has for you requires certain people to be left behind. It's not about them being wrong or bad for you, but simply that they no longer align with the direction God is taking you. Each of us has a unique purpose, and as we move toward fulfilling that purpose, the requirements for who can walk alongside us change. Some relationships are designed for a specific season, and when that season comes to an end, God knows it's time for them to leave. It's like climbing a mountain. There are certain elevations where not everyone can continue. Some people were only meant to help you reach a particular point, but beyond that, their presence may slow you down, distract you, or divert you from your path. When you hold on to relationships or people who are no longer aligned with your destiny, you risk stunting your growth. It may feel comforting to keep them around because of familiarity, shared history, or emotional attachment, but growth requires sacrifice. The higher you go, the fewer people can come with you. This doesn't mean you stop loving them or appreciating the role they played in your life. It just means their part in your story is complete. If you insist on dragging them with you into the next chapter, you may find that the weight of those relationships slows you down. God understands the importance of timing and alignment. When He removes people from your life, it's because they are not equipped to handle the next level of your purpose. Perhaps they don't share your vision, or they don't support the changes God is making in you. Sometimes people become envious of your growth, uncomfortable with your progress, or unwilling to rise with you. This can create tension, confusion, and even stagnation in your journey. In those moments, God steps in and makes the decision for you. He clears the path so you can keep moving forward without unnecessary baggage. It's important to recognize that letting go of these people is not a rejection of them, but rather an acceptance of your own calling. When God takes someone out of your life, it's because he knows they can't handle where you are going. You may have shared great memories, mutual goals, or deep conversations, but the place God is leading you requires a new level of focus, dedication, and alignment. Some people can't see or understand that level, and that's okay. They have played their part in your life, and now it's time for you to continue the journey without them. Moving forward can be lonely at times, but trusting that God knows who and what you need in each season will give you peace. Those who cannot go with you to the next phase of your life are not meant to. Their purpose in your life was fulfilled, and now you're being called to a higher purpose, one that demands your full attention and alignment with God's plan. You'll find that as you release those who can't go with you, God will bring new people into your life who are aligned with where you're headed. There are moments in life when God removes certain people from our lives, and at the time it may feel confusing or even painful. However, what we often fail to see in those moments is that God is protecting us from something harmful that we may not fully understand or recognize. Toxic relationships are not always obvious, and they don't always start out that way. In fact, they can sometimes feel comforting, familiar, or even necessary at first. But over time, these relationships can drain your energy, pull you away from your purpose, and lead you down paths that God never intended for you. Toxicity in relationships can come in many forms. It can be manipulation, control, jealousy, or negativity. It can be subtle, slowly creeping into your life and chipping away at your peace, your joy, and even your self-worth. What makes these relationships dangerous is that they often go unnoticed until you are deeply entangled in them. The people who seem like they are offering love, friendship, or support may actually be leading you away from what God has called you to do. They may not mean harm intentionally, but their influence is harmful nonetheless. God, in his infinite wisdom, knows when a relationship has turned toxic, even when we don't see it. He knows when someone's presence in our life is preventing us from growing, from healing, or from becoming the person we are meant to be. That's why sometimes he steps in and removes people before the damage becomes too great. It may be hard to understand in the moment, especially if the relationship seemed good on the surface, but God sees beyond what we can see. He sees the conversations we aren't privy to, the thoughts and intentions that people may hide, and the ways in which their presence is affecting our spirit. When God removes a toxic person from your life, it's a form of divine protection. He is shielding you from further harm, from emotional and spiritual damage that you may not even realize is happening. Toxic relationships have the power to drain your energy, distort your perception of yourself, and pull you away from your purpose. Over time, they can leave you feeling exhausted, confused, or even lost. And often we hold on to these relationships out of fear of being alone, fear of change, or fear of the unknown. But God, in his love and wisdom, wants more for you than just surviving in a relationship that diminishes your value. He wants you to thrive, to live in relationships that build you up, encourage your growth, and align with his purpose for your life. When he removes a toxic person, it may feel like a loss at first, but in reality, it's a step toward freedom and healing. It's a release from the negative influences that have been weighing you down, even if you didn't realize it. Sometimes the removal of toxic people is the only way to break free from patterns of dysfunction that we've grown accustomed to. We may have tolerated behaviors or accepted treatment that is far below what God wants for us. By taking those people out of our lives, God is making a statement: you are worth more than this. You deserve to be surrounded by people who bring out the best in you, not those who continually drag you down. Though it can be difficult to let go, especially when we become attached to someone or built a history with them, it's important to trust that God knows what's best. He sees the future. He knows the plans he has for you, and he knows that these toxic relationships cannot go where he is taking you. In protecting you from toxic relationships, God is ensuring that you are able to move forward unhindered, free from the emotional and spiritual weight that could hold you back from your true potential. What might feel like a painful separation now will, in time, reveal itself as a necessary step toward living the life God has called you to. You'll look back and see how God's removal of certain people was an act of love, protection, and care, guiding you toward relationships that truly reflect His heart for you. In life, not all relationships are meant to last forever. Some people are brought into your life for a specific season or purpose, and once that purpose is fulfilled, the relationship naturally comes to an end. These are what can be called seasonal relationships, and just like the seasons of the year, they have an expiration date. The challenge comes when we try to hold on to these relationships long after their season has passed, thinking they are meant to be permanent fixtures in our lives. But God, in His wisdom, often orchestrates these relationships to be temporary, teaching us that not everyone is meant to stay with us forever. When we look at how the seasons change in nature, we can see a similar pattern in our relationships. Spring, for instance, is a time of new beginnings, growth, and blossoming. Certain relationships in our lives come during a period when we are starting something new, full of energy and optimism. These people help us in that initial phase, providing support, encouragement, or inspiration to get us going. But just like spring gives way to summer, those relationships may not be meant to continue into the next phase of life. Summer, with its warmth and brightness, brings a different energy, and sometimes new people enter our lives while others fade away. The ones who stay through the summer may be there to help you nurture what began in the spring, but even they may not remain when the next season arrives. As life progresses and we move into fall, we begin to see the leaves change, and in the same way, some relationships start to shift. People who were once close may drift apart, not because of any conflict or ill feelings, but simply because the season of that relationship has run its course. The purpose they served in your life is complete, and it's time for both of you to move on to the next phase of your individual journeys. Holding on too tightly to these seasonal relationships can prevent you from embracing what comes next. It's natural to want to maintain connections that feel familiar, especially when those relationships were once filled with meaning and growth. But clinging to something beyond its season only creates tension, frustration, and sometimes even heartache. Winter, the final season, can feel like a time of loss and reflection. It's a period where things come to an end, where relationships that were once vibrant and alive now seem distant or disconnected. But just as winter is necessary for the natural cycle of life, this phase of relationships is also vital for your personal growth. The ending of a seasonal relationship doesn't mean failure or rejection. Rather, it's part of God's plan to make room for new growth, new people, and new opportunities. Sometimes God removes people from your life, not because they were bad or harmful, but because their season is over. Their role in your journey has been fulfilled, and now it's time for you to move forward into the next chapter, unencumbered by past relationships that no longer serve your future. It can be difficult to accept that certain relationships have an expiration date, especially when they have been meaningful or impactful. But recognizing the purpose of seasonal relationships allows you to appreciate them for what they were, without holding on to what they can no longer be. Each person who enters your life during a particular season brings something unique, whether it's wisdom, companionship, support, or even challenges that help you grow. But just as their arrival had a purpose, so does their departure. God knows that in order for you to fully step into your purpose, some relationships must end to make room for new ones that align with where He is leading you. Learning to let go of seasonal relationships is a part of spiritual maturity. It teaches you to trust in God's timing and His plan, knowing that He brings people into your life for a reason and He removes them when their time is up. It may feel like a loss, but in reality, it's preparation for the next phase of your journey. Each season brings its own blessings and lessons, and when the time comes for a relationship to expire, it's because God is making room for something greater. There are times in life when God removes people from your life not as a punishment, but as an invitation to draw closer to Him. We often build our lives around the relationships we have with others, relying on them for comfort, support, guidance, and even validation. While relationships are important, God desires to be the center of your trust and reliance. When certain people are taken out of your life, it can feel like a void, leaving you searching for answers and comfort. Yet, In those moments of loss, God is trying to teach you something profound. He wants you to depend on him more than anyone else. It's easy to become attached to the people around us, especially when they have played significant roles in our lives. They may be our friends, family members, or even mentors who have been there in difficult times, offering advice, encouragement, or even material help. Over time, we may unconsciously begin to lean on these people more than we lean on God. We seek their opinions before praying, look to them for direction when we should be seeking God's wisdom, and sometimes even measure our worth based on their approval. While these people may have good intentions, no human can fill the role that only God is meant to play in your life. When God removes certain people, it can feel unsettling, as though the foundation you've been standing on is being shaken. But this is often his way of drawing your attention back to him. He is reminding you that while people can help you along the way, only he can truly sustain you. Others may provide temporary solutions or limited support, but God's guidance is eternal and his love is unconditional. He sees the bigger picture, the path that lies ahead, and the lessons you need to learn in order to fulfill your purpose. Sometimes God allows us to experience loneliness so that we can realize how much we truly need him. When we have people around us all the time, it's easy to become distracted and to rely on their presence more than we realize. But in moments of solitude, when those people are no longer there, we are faced with the truth that God is our only constant. It is in these moments that we begin to understand that our reliance should never be fully placed on others, because people, no matter how good, are imperfect and cannot meet all of our needs. Only God can. By removing certain individuals from your life, God is not just taking something away, he's giving you the opportunity to grow deeper in your relationship with him. He wants to show you that he is your provider, your healer, your source of strength, and your guide. When you learn to rely on him, you begin to see that he is enough. He becomes the one you turn to for wisdom, for comfort, for direction, and for peace. As you develop this reliance on him, you'll find a new sense of stability and peace that no human relationship can offer. God also removes people from your life to teach you how to hear his voice more clearly. When you rely heavily on others, their voices can drown out God's voice. You may find yourself listening to their opinions more than you listen to the gentle whispers of the Holy Spirit. By creating space in your life, God allows you to focus on him, to tune into his guidance, and to build a stronger connection with him. The removal of people is not to leave you empty, but to fill you with his presence. In learning to rely on God, you are being prepared for greater things. He knows the plans he has for you, plans that require a deep faith and trust in his timing and provision. Sometimes the people who have been in your life for a long time are not able to go with you into the next phase of your journey. Their role in your life was important for a season, but as God calls you to new levels, he also calls you to trust him more deeply. He wants to be the one you lean on as you step into your destiny. The process of learning to rely on God can be challenging, especially when it means letting go of relationships that provided comfort or security. But God's ways are higher than our ways, and he knows what is best for us. He knows that true security comes not from people, but from him. When you learn to trust him fully, you'll experience a level of peace and confidence that transcends any human relationship. You'll no longer be shaken by the comings and goings of people in your life because your foundation will be rooted in God's unchanging nature. In teaching you to rely on him, God is preparing you for a future where your trust in him will be the key to unlocking your potential. He wants you to walk in faith, knowing that no matter who comes or goes in your life, he will always be with you. His presence will be your strength, his wisdom will be your guide, and his love will be your comfort. The more you rely on him, the more you'll discover that he truly is all you need. Sometimes God removes people from your life to help you refocus on your true purpose. We all have a purpose, a calling, something that we are uniquely designed to fulfill. But as we go through life, it's easy to become distracted by the people around us, by their opinions, their expectations, and even by the comfort of relationships that may no longer serve our growth. These distractions can slowly pull us away from the path God has set before us, making it harder to hear his voice and see his plan clearly. When God removes someone from your life, it's often because they have become a distraction, whether you realize it or not. And He wants to help you get back on track. Distractions don't always come in the form of negativity or conflict. Sometimes the very people we enjoy being around, the ones who bring us joy and comfort, can unintentionally divert our focus away from our divine purpose. It's natural to want to spend time with those who make us feel good. But if those relationships start to consume too much of your attention or energy, they can interfere with the work God has for you. God, in His infinite wisdom, sees this and steps in to remove the distraction, allowing you the space to realign with His plan. The process of being refocused often begins with a period of reflection. When certain people are no longer in your life, you suddenly have more time, more energy, and more mental clarity to think about what truly matters. You begin to question where you're headed and whether the path you're on is leading you toward the purpose God has designed for you. In these moments of reflection, God can reveal areas of your life where you may have been drifting away from your purpose. He can show you how certain relationships, even ones that seem positive, were actually pulling you away from His plan. God's removal of distractions is a form of protection. He knows the plans He has for you, plans for your good, to prosper you and not to harm you. But those plans require focus, dedication, and a heart that is fully aligned with His will. When we are surrounded by distractions, it's easy to lose sight of the big picture and get caught up in the details of everyday life. We can become so absorbed in maintaining relationships, meeting others' expectations, or even trying to please people that we forget the higher calling God has placed on our lives. By removing these distractions, God is protecting your purpose and giving you the opportunity to refocus on what truly matters. This removal process may feel uncomfortable at first. You might wonder why someone who was once a big part of your life is suddenly no longer there. You might feel a sense of loss or even confusion. But as time goes on, you'll begin to see that the space left by that person was necessary for you to grow, to pursue your goals, and to deepen your relationship with God. With fewer distractions, you can hear God's voice more clearly, understand His direction more fully, and walk with greater confidence in your purpose. Removing distractions also helps to simplify your life. When we have too many things competing for our attention, we can feel overwhelmed, scattered, and even exhausted. Our relationships, while important, can sometimes add to that sense of overwhelm if they are not aligned with where God is leading you. By removing those distractions, God is giving you the gift of simplicity, a life where your energy is focused on what truly matters. You're no longer pulled in multiple directions, trying to balance everything and everyone. Instead, you have the freedom to pursue your purpose with focus and clarity. In this newly simplified space, you'll find that your relationship with God deepens. Without the distractions of certain relationships, you'll have more time to spend in prayer, in the Word, and in seeking God's direction for your life. As your connection with Him strengthens, you'll become more attuned to His voice and more aware of His guidance. You'll start to see opportunities that you may have overlooked before, and you'll have the courage to step into them with faith, knowing that God is leading you every step of the way. God's removal of distractions is not just about eliminating what no longer serves you, it's about making room for what's next. When you are refocused on your purpose, you are in a better position to receive the new relationships, opportunities, and blessings that God has prepared for you. These new relationships will be more aligned with your purpose, encouraging you to grow and pushing you toward your destiny. The opportunities that come your way will be ones that help you fulfill the calling on your life, and the blessings will come as a result of your obedience and focus. By removing distractions, God is not taking something away from you. He's giving you something far greater, the ability to fulfill the purpose He has uniquely designed for you. You are being positioned to step into your destiny with clarity, focus, and unwavering faith. It may feel like a loss at first, but as you continue to walk in obedience and trust, you'll see that God's plan is always for your good. He knows exactly what you need to stay focused on your purpose. And sometimes that means letting go of the people and relationships that no longer align with where He's taking you. When God removes certain people from your life, He is often clearing the way for divine appointments that can significantly impact your journey. Life is full of encounters and relationships that shape our paths, but not all of them are part of God's ultimate plan for us. Sometimes we become so entangled in our existing relationships and routines that we fail to notice the opportunities that God is placing right in front of us. By creating space in your life, God is ensuring that you can recognize and seize these divine moments. Divine appointments are those encounters orchestrated by God to lead you toward your destiny. They may come in the form of new friendships, mentors, or unexpected opportunities that align perfectly with your purpose. However, if your life is cluttered with distractions and relationships that are not aligned with God's plan, you might miss these significant moments. When certain people are removed, it opens up space for you to engage with those who are divinely appointed to be part of your journey. This process often requires a period of transition during which you may feel a sense of loss or confusion. But this feeling is often a necessary part of the journey. It can be challenging to let go of relationships that have become familiar, even if they no longer serve your highest good. God understands the difficulty of this transition and uses it as a time for you to grow in trust and reliance on Him. As you begin to accept the changes in your life, you will start to notice the new paths that are opening up before you. Making space for divine appointments is about being open and receptive to what God has in store for you. When certain people leave your life, it creates an opportunity for you to seek God's will more earnestly. With fewer distractions, you can devote your energy to prayer, reflection, and seeking guidance. This heightened awareness allows you to tune into the promptings of the Holy Spirit, leading you toward encounters that can change the course of your life. You may find yourself meeting someone who inspires you, a mentor who offers valuable advice, or a connection that leads to a career opportunity you never imagined. Moreover, God's divine appointments are often timely, occurring when you are most in need of encouragement, direction, or a fresh perspective. By removing distractions, God positions you to be available for these moments of grace. These appointments may challenge you, inspire you, or even provoke you to step outside your comfort zone, but they are designed to lead you closer to your purpose. They may not always be easy, but they will ultimately contribute to your growth and development. In addition to new relationships, making space for divine appointments can also mean being open to unexpected opportunities. Sometimes we become so focused on our current plans that we fail to see the bigger picture. By letting go of what no longer serves you, you can embrace new possibilities that God places in your path. Whether it's a new job offer, an invitation to collaborate on a project, or an opportunity to serve in a new capacity, these moments can propel you forward in ways you never thought possible. God is intentional about the people and opportunities He brings into our lives. Each divine appointment is a chance for growth, learning, and alignment with your purpose. When you're willing to create space for these encounters, you position yourself to experience the fullness of what God has for you. You begin to see that every person you meet and every opportunity that arises is part of a larger tapestry that God is weaving in your life. As you navigate through this period of change, it's essential to maintain an attitude of expectation and faith. Trust that God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating events that are for your good and His glory. You may not see the entire picture right away, but as you move forward in faith, you will begin to understand how each appointment fits into His divine plan. In making space for divine appointments, you are also allowing God to deepen your relationship with Him. The more you lean into His guidance during this transitional time, the more attuned you will become to His voice and leading. This connection is vital as you engage with the new relationships and opportunities that come your way. It helps you discern which encounters are truly divinely appointed and which may simply be distractions. Ultimately, making space for divine appointments is about embracing God's purpose for your life with an open heart and mind. It's a reminder that God has a plan for you that far exceeds your own understanding. By trusting Him to remove what is no longer necessary, you are allowing Him to fill your life with people and opportunities that will enrich your journey and draw you closer to your destiny. This process may involve discomfort, But it is in this discomfort that you find the space to grow, learn, and ultimately walk in the fullness of what God has called you to be. When God removes people from your life, it often serves as a powerful catalyst for self-reflection and personal growth. This process encourages you to pause, look inward, and evaluate the current state of your life, your relationships, and your alignment with your divine purpose. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, it's easy to get caught up in the routine and lose sight of who you are and where you're headed. God, in His wisdom, uses these moments of transition to prompt you to consider deeper questions about your identity and your goals. Self-reflection is a crucial aspect of spiritual and personal development. It requires you to take an honest inventory of your thoughts, behaviors, and relationships. When certain people are no longer part of your life, it creates an opportunity for you to ask yourself what you truly value and what you want to achieve. You may find yourself contemplating questions like, what are my strengths and weaknesses? What habits do I need to change? Am I surrounding myself with individuals who encourage my growth and align with my values? These reflections can lead to a deeper understanding of yourself and your journey. As you engage in this self-reflection, you may also confront areas of your life that need healing or growth. Relationships that are removed may have had a significant impact on your emotional well-being, whether positive or negative. By taking the time to assess these dynamics, you can identify patterns that may have held you back. Perhaps there are behaviors you need to let go of, or perhaps there are new practices you want to incorporate into your life. This is your chance to cultivate self-awareness and recognize the lessons that each relationship taught you, helping you grow stronger in the process. In this period of introspection, you might also find clarity regarding your personal goals and aspirations. Without the influence of certain people, you can begin to reconnect with your passions and dreams. God often uses the removal of relationships to redirect your focus toward your higher calling. As you reflect, you might discover new interests, revisit old dreams that you had set aside, or even feel inspired to pursue a different path altogether. This journey of rediscovery can be both exhilarating and transformative, empowering you to take bold steps toward the life you are meant to live. Furthermore, self-reflection provides an opportunity for accountability. As you assess your life, you may find areas where you've been complacent or where you've allowed external influences to dictate your choices. This newfound awareness encourages you to take ownership of your actions and decisions. Rather than blaming others or circumstances for where you find yourself, you begin to recognize your role in shaping your reality. This accountability is a crucial step toward personal growth and empowerment, as it enables you to take charge of your life and move forward with intention. This journey of self-reflection also opens the door for spiritual growth. When you remove distractions, you create space for deeper communion with God. In the stillness, you can hear His voice more clearly, guiding you toward the insights and revelations you need. Prayer and meditation become powerful tools for this process, allowing you to seek God's wisdom and understanding. You may find yourself more receptive to His direction, leading you to a renewed sense of purpose and calling. This spiritual growth reinforces your identity as a beloved child of God, reminding you of His plans for your life. Additionally, self-reflection fosters resilience. As you navigate the changes in your relationships, you learn to adapt and grow in the face of adversity. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to build your character and strengthen your resolve. You may find that the lessons learned during this time equip you with the tools you need to face future challenges with confidence. Resilience is a vital aspect of personal development, allowing you to bounce back from setbacks and remain committed to your goals. Engaging in self-reflection also encourages you to develop a vision for your future. As you gain clarity about who you are and what you want, you can begin to set meaningful goals that align with your values and purpose. This process may involve creating a vision board, journaling your aspirations, or simply taking time to dream about what your ideal life looks like. God desires for you to live a life that is fulfilling and purposeful, and by setting intentions, you position yourself to attract opportunities that align with your divine calling. Ultimately, a call for self-reflection and growth is a divine invitation to become the best version of yourself. It is an opportunity to shed the layers of expectation and societal pressure that may have clouded your vision. As you embrace this time of introspection, you allow God to refine you, shaping you into the person He has called you to be. It's a journey of transformation that takes courage and commitment, but leads to profound rewards. As you navigate through this process, remember that self-reflection is not a one-time event, it's an ongoing journey. Embrace it as a vital part of your growth, allowing it to guide you in making choices that align with your purpose. With each step you take towards self-awareness and personal development, you become more attuned to God's plans for your life, and you cultivate the ability to move forward with confidence, clarity, and purpose. In closing, understanding why God removes certain people from your life is an essential part of your journey toward growth and fulfillment. This divine pruning is not merely about loss, it is about making room for greater blessings, deeper connections, and the realization of your true purpose. Each relationship serves a purpose, whether to teach you lessons, support your growth, or at times to challenge you. As difficult as it may be to let go, it's crucial to trust that God has a plan far greater than we can see. The removal of certain individuals often leads to a period of self-reflection, prompting us to assess our values, goals, and spiritual alignment. It invites us to reevaluate our lives and encourages us to develop resilience and a deeper reliance on God. In this space of transition, we learn to recognize divine appointments that God has prepared for us, new relationships and opportunities that will nurture our growth and guide us toward our purpose. As you navigate these changes, embrace the journey with an open heart. Trust that God is guiding you even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. Let each experience teach you something valuable, allowing you to grow into the person you are destined to be. Remember, every ending is an invitation for a new beginning, and in God's hands, every removal is a step toward a greater purpose. So as you move forward, hold on to the belief that God's removal of people from your life is a testament to His love and care for you. It's a gentle reminder that He desires for you to flourish, to be surrounded by those who uplift and inspire you, and to walk confidently in the path He has designed for you. Embrace this transformative journey, for it will lead you to a life filled with divine purpose, joy, and fulfillment.